Okay, guys. Here we go. Getting things going here. My computer was acting up a little bit today, so I am currently trying to get that kind of figured out. All right, we got 5 people here, 6 people. Good. Maria Martin, Oscar Lopez, Maria Martin, Bravo Guzman. Very good. Ophelia Lopez. Very good. Miss Rubio. Liz C. What's your last name, Liz C? I assume it's Carmona. Nathaniel Brown. Mr. Alcantar. Nathaniel Brown. Lucas Earl. You guys are moving fast this morning. I like that. Elena. Mr. Ruiz. Okay. Jocelyn, Anaya, gotcha. Sorry, I'm all over the place this morning. I got stuff dropping in my garage, all kinds of stuff going on. Laura Cabrera, good to see you. I see you. Polanco. Polanco, is your name hyphenated? Oh, Luis Martinez. Okay. Yeah, make sure, guys, if your name is hyphenated or you're using a YouTube, I don't know what they call it. It's like not your real name, your marker name, or I don't know what it'd be called. Make sure I get your real name, okay? Miss Paulino, Kimberly Paulino, gotcha. Benjamin Bautista, gotcha. Isaiah Real. Is that Carlos Real? Get back to me. Holler at me. Iguano. Corona. Jesse Corona. Esmeralda Ramirez. Esmeralda Ramirez. I don't see you on my roster at all. Esmeralda Gutierrez. There we go. Beautiful. Gotcha. Galindo. Jose Galindo. Gotcha. Jasmine Uvius. Are you able to see my comment? Let me get your name first. No, I haven't seen your comment. I don't see any comments yet. Roman. Roman Morales. Okay, got that. Joanna, gotcha. Jasmine, I gotcha. Good morning. Very good. I got 24 people in a 39 seat class. Caitlin, where are you at, Caitlin? Gotcha. Or Cataline? I don't know. Sorry, butchered it. Diego Huerta. Gotcha. Anna. Just added you the other day. Gotcha. Andre. Gotcha. Okay, let me see. I think I got, yeah, it's Carlos. All right. Okay, Carlos. Real. Yes, sir. Gotcha, Carlos. Let me see who else we got here. I think I got all of you. That's okay. If you're going to get the question during this lecture, and I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible, but there's a couple more things I need to address. So answering the question, you get the credit. right? Miss Bravo, good morning, Ashley. And then, obviously ask questions. I think I got all of you. That's fine. This isn't the end all, right? This isn't the end all. This is just a reference for me. It's very possible that I did miss somebody here, right? I'll go through as I'm talking. I'll keep checking on it as much as I possibly can. But ultimately, what's going to give you the credit is the question you get from me, and then logging into Canvas, which you should do now. I've got a split screen myself, so do that. And as soon as you get the question, answer it. Do what you got to do, answer it. And then Wednesday, remember, no lecture Wednesday. We're not meeting at all Wednesday. Wednesday is just the assignment that's due Wednesday, right? So make sure you're staying on top of that. Okay, with that said, and I recognize the name of the email that I got, and I hate to put you on blast. I'm not going to use your name, but I am going to use your email to highlight a couple of issues here that I've already gone over. And frankly, I don't want to have to go over again. Okay, so here's the email that I got. I wasn't able to attend the meetings last week because I did not have access to the syllabus or class material. Can you please resend the send that you said you sent me a week ago because I never received it, possibly because I joined only a couple days before the start. Thank you. Okay. The person who sent that, and to anyone who's thinking about sending me a message like that, we talked about etiquette, right? I have no idea what class you're in. No idea at all. So let's start with that. Always, always, always let me know, hey, this is so-and-so from your 8 a.m. class, and I have a 9:30 class and a 6:30 class. So obviously you're all my 8 a.m. people. With that said, I decode this as, will you hold my hand? No, I won't. I've done enough. I've done a lot. And logging into Canvas and logging into My Hancock and reading your emails is not a difficult thing to do. Go into the search bar, search Clarence Griego, search HED 100, and read every email in the order that they came, and you'll be updated. Not only that, there's been some messages sent in Canvas. Go into Canvas. Look at that, right? Most of you are here. Almost all of you. We're missing a few people. Oh, well, so be it. We move on, right? The class just keeps moving on. If we were in class, I'd have the same issue. There'd be 5 or 6 people not there. 2 or 3 of them would give me the kind of sad story of, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. The bottom line is, you're in college now. The opportunity is there for you to take. The opportunity is there for you to fail as well. And it's your job to jump through hoops. It's not mine. I've already done school. Now it's your turn to move on, right? Your turn to kind of take the bull by the horns and get stuff done. Okay. I'm seeing a couple more people log in. Make sure you check in, say hi, make sure I see your name. I'll get you here on the list. But more importantly, make sure that you get the question, right? Miss Rojo, good morning. Make sure you get the question later on in the lecture here. And make sure you answer that today by the end of class, right? And you will get your credit, okay? No questions asked on that. You get the question done. Ideally, you follow the instructions. You get the question done right. You are good. Miss Rojo, I just checked you off. You're good. Okay. Today's lecture. And let's get through it, right? Let's just get through it. If I were you, again, do a split screen, open up, and I'm going to do that myself. I had a ton of sorry. It's hard to think and talk at the same time. It really is. I know that sounds kind of weird. But anyways, make sure you log into Canvas and go ahead and look at that question, your link for that question, or where you answer that question, and just do it right after I give you the question. Just go ahead and do it. Santiago, I got you. Okay. Fall 2020 20114. Assignments. Actually, let's go to pages. I'm going to go to pages. Okay. And we are going to get rolling here. I think most people are here, which is perfect. Okay. Go to your overall wellness, week 2, dimensions of wellness. There's your graphic, right? We're going to start talking about 3 of these today, and we're going to start with physical. Okay. A couple things about physical wellness. Physical wellness is comprised of a number of things that obviously make sense when you first hear them. Eating well, eating relatively well, right? So what do I mean by that? Most people pick and choose foods, whether they're healthy or not, or that's at least the conversation that you have in your brain. Is this healthy for me? Is this not healthy for me? And sometimes, we skip that. And sometimes we think food is healthy or isn't healthy. That's neither here nor there at this point. What I would say about physical wellness and how it relates to eating well is diversity of foods. In other words, there's really not anything that you should consume on a daily basis. Now, what do I mean by that? People ask me all the time, well, is milk good for you? Sure, maybe. I don't know. I know there's calories and sugar in milk, which can be a good thing. If you just got done running, I don't know, a 5-mile jog in the morning, or you just got back from the gym, milk is probably fine. If you're 60 pounds overweight and you drink milk with every meal you eat, I would argue that maybe milk isn't that healthy for you. Again, there's not one Band-Aid for everybody out there. There's not one Band-Aid diet. There's not one Band-Aid magic pill. We have to follow some general guidelines. And when we talk about physical wellness, the most important thing is eating well, right? And again, diversity in choices, choosing different foods every day, planning your meals, having an idea of what you're going to eat is always a good thing. Not having a plan is typically a bad thing, because then you rely on foods of convenience. Right? Not having a plan in the morning, you're just going to go ahead and have some cereal. And some of us have boxes that say healthy cereal. Newsflash, there's no healthy cereal. At least not healthy enough to be consuming on a daily basis, right? Number 2 in physical wellness, exercising, right? A lot of arguments on what type of exercise you should do, how many days a week you should do it. The best exercise, people, is the exercise that you're willing to do regularly, whatever that is. If it's lift weights, lift weights. If it's running or swimming or biking, whatever, you get the point. We need to have a decent caloric burn on a daily basis. Why? Because that's what our body's made for. Our body's not made for sitting in front of a computer all day or sitting on a device all day. And that's instinctively true to most of us. I think even if you've been sitting down for a while, you have a tendency to stand up and do that. That's your body. That's atrophy. That's right. That's your body. That's your muscle getting actually weaker, right? That's your joints getting weaker, needing blood flow. Right? I mean, even just sitting here right now, I can already start to feel my lower back. I don't like sitting for long periods of time, and neither should you. And most of us don't. You just have a tendency to stretch around. Your body needs movement. It needs what we call range of motion, ROM, right? Your joints need to work through their range of motion on a regular basis. So doing that, taking your body through its range of motion every day, even if it's just stretching. Stretching is one of the best digestive aids out there. So to help maintain weight, stretching on a daily basis is good. And that's something that can be easily incorporated into your daily routine. Number 3, avoiding harmful habits, right? We know this. Sodas, cigarettes, vaping, weed, alcohol, excess sugar, excess video games, porn, all of these things have a tendency to be addictive. They have a tendency to satiate, but they also have a tendency to trigger dopamine, right? There's plenty of studies. Even your phone, making a comment or posting something on Facebook or Instagram, you're looking for that like, you're looking for that instant feedback, that gratification of people acknowledging that you're doing something good or funny or just acknowledging you at all. You get a dopamine dump from that. The same dopamine you get from smoking marijuana or doing drugs and alcohol, the same exact chemical response. So making sure that we avoid harmful habits is important to physical health. Number 4, practicing safe sex. Again, number 1 source of disease for people in your age group, STDs, right? So if we simply ate well, exercise, wear a rubber, most of you guys would live till you're about 70 years old, right? And that's a good life. 70, 75, that's a good life. So make sure that if you are having sex, especially if you're having sex with multiple partners, that you're protecting yourself, right? And next unit, we'll talk about sexual health. We'll talk about ways STDs are transmitted. Make sure you're wearing the condom, right? The condom is probably, I would say top 5 man's greatest invention, right? Next one, recognizing symptoms of disease. Really hard to do. Really hard because most of you probably don't know the symptoms of disease. I would argue that one symptom of disease is being tired. And how many people are tired around 2, 3 o'clock, right? That's not normal. That's a metabolism, that's a metabolic response to some of the food that you're eating. And because we can't or aren't good or we're not sufficient in our abilities to recognize symptoms of disease, it's very important that you do my next point here, get regular checkups, right? With the onset of Obamacare or Covered California, most of you, if not all of you, have access to healthcare. And yeah, it's not right there in front of you. They don't do it for you. You've got to go apply. You've got to put in paperwork. You got to stand in line. You got to go down to the health clinic and sit next to all the people that are coughing, right? And sometimes you don't want to do that. However, understanding your health is something that's in flux. It changes over time. It changes all the time. It's not static. So making sure that you're getting at least an annual checkup, especially if you're sexually active. Ladies, you can contract STDs that down the road will wreak havoc on your ability to have a child. And I don't think anyone wants to make a decision when they're 18 that will affect them when they're 35, right? So again, getting regular checkups and having your doctor help facilitate you recognizing the symptoms of disease is good, right? It's proactive. And that's what really health is all about. Health's about being proactive. It's not being reactive, right? You don't want to spend a life taking medication. And then last but not least, trying to avoid injuries is good, but more importantly, addressing your injuries. And I see this all the time. I have brother-in-laws that damaged their back when they're 25, never rehabbed it correctly, and now they have a hard time picking up their kid. You hurt your knee, you hurt your elbow, you hurt your shoulders. These are very common injuries that happen to Americans year in and year out, and they go overlooked. If you damage a joint, you should look to get it repaired the right way. Because if you don't get it repaired now as you age, it's not just going to magically fix itself. Your knees, your hips, your lower back, your shoulders, those are common areas of the body that require a little attention from people, especially when you get hurt. Okay, so again, physical wellness, eating well, exercising, avoiding harmful habits, practicing safe sex, recognizing the symptoms of disease, right? Get regular checkups and have the doctor help you recognize those symptoms of disease and address your injuries, right? When you get hurt, when you get sick, go see the doctor, find out what the rehab situation is and get it done. Okay. Next dimension, emotional. Emotional wellness really hinges upon one thing and one thing only, and that is the ability to come to grips with your own feelings, right? Now, this requires a number of characteristics and practices that you have to have. First and foremost, I would say humor. The ability to laugh at yourself, the ability to know your weaknesses, things of that nature, right? Optimism, right? The ability when times are tough, when times are bad, to see a silver lining, to see an avenue for growth, to see something good. I mean, just look at this whole COVID situation. Yeah, it sucked. I mean, is there ever going to be a normal again? Who knows? It seems like in many ways the world is kind of spiraling out of control, especially America. Social policy, all of these things, right? These things seem to be spiraling out of control. But I can tell you right now, one of the things that was great about COVID was just being home with my family, right? A lot of good times with my kids, a lot of one-on-one time. I have seen them over the last 3-4 months just grow. And that had to do with the fact that mom and dad were always around, always getting on them about doing the right thing, practicing the right thing, trying new foods, exercising, getting out on the trampoline, running around, get out on your bike, so on and so forth. Those were all positive things for, at least for my family, right? So having optimism, self-esteem, right? Having a relative good amount or solid amount of confidence in yourself. And that, again, hinges upon kind of your ability to understand your weaknesses, right? Excuse me. Understand where you're not necessarily doing well, or where you have room to grow in your life, in your social life, in your emotional life, in your work life, your physical life, whatever it is, right? And all of this, I think, really hinges, right? So your ability to accept your feelings, having optimism, having self-esteem. To me, the linchpin in all these things is your ability to cultivate an intimate relationship. Now, what do I mean by that? By intimate, I don't necessarily mean sexual, although it can be a sexual relationship. But someone who develops an intimate relationship is someone who has the ability to develop good, solid friendship foundations, right? With people of both sexes, right? Having female friends that you don't fool around with or have a sexual relationship. You just have a good, honest, open relationship, a good, solid friendship with. Having a friendship if you're a male, having a friendship with another male where you're comfortable in talking about issues. You're comfortable being honest with that person. You don't have to have a front or feel like you have to act a certain way. When you focus on relationships, you're in a roundabout way, you're really focusing on yourself. And if you were to ever study drug rehabilitation, the first thing they do is they put you in a relationship, sometimes with an animal. They have you take care of a cat or a dog or a horse. And the theory behind this is if you take the time to take care of someone else, you'll incorporate the tools to take care of yourself, because relationships are reciprocal, right? And that's one of the reasons why I talk about etiquette. You know, students have a tendency to want, and they don't want to give. You got to give a little bit. You got to take a little bit. And when you are able to balance a relationship and balance multiple relationships, you do a better job of just balancing your life overall, right? Okay, so again, emotional wellness, optimism, trust, self-esteem, sense of humor, right? Accepting your feelings, the ability to develop the ability to develop an intimate relationship, right? Okay, and then lastly, intellectual wellness. What are the components of intellectual wellness? Well, you're doing it right now, right? You're opening up to new ideas. You're opening up to education. You're attempting to put your your education, your mind at the forefront of your thoughts, which is good. How do I get smarter? How do I get better at something? Having the capacity to generate questions, right? Not just take something for face value, right? Again, we talked about the what. The what's easy. It's easy to understand. The what is put right in front of you. What we're talking about, I'm telling you what we're talking about. But how you incorporate that is totally dependent upon you, right? So the capacity to question, the capacity to evaluate things, to evaluate what someone said, to evaluate the material being sent to you, and incorporate it into your life somehow to make things just a little bit easier for yourself, a little bit better for yourself. When we talk about intellectual wellness, I think the most important thing to mention is the ability or the willingness to develop a skill, right? Skill set. And what do I mean by that? Go to Chase, right? Over at the corner of Betaravia and Broadway. If you walk into Chase, what you see is like a 2-story building. And if you look to the left, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 10 teller windows, right? When I was your age, if you were to walk into Chase, all 10 of those windows had a teller, right? Everyone went in on Friday because the bank was closed over the weekend. You deposited your check, you got money out that you thought you needed over the weekend, and business was okay. Business was fine. Nowadays, when you walk into Chase, there's 8 windows. There's still 8 to 10 windows, but there's only 2 tellers, right? Sometimes there's only 1 tellers. What does that tell you? That there's only 2 tellers. That should tell you that the minimum skilled jobs out there in America are beginning to disappear. And I'm not dissing the people who work at Chase or Walmart. What I'm saying is, yeah, you have to have some skills, but you don't have to be, you don't have to have a ton of formal education or even a ton of training to be a teller at Chase. Those jobs are disappearing by and large, right? Amazon has stores now that you literally walk in. They have sensors and cameras everywhere. You grab something, you put it in your basket. It goes into the basket on your cell phone. You walk out. No one checks you out. It just bink goes right to your phone, out of your debit account or out of your credit account, whatever account you have hooked up to your Amazon, and you walk out. They don't need people in the store anymore, right? Amazon is knocking out brick and mortar stores left and right. Target is knocking out brick and mortar stores left and right. Walmart delivery, DoorDash, all of these things are destroying brick and mortar stores. And therefore, the jobs, that job market is diminishing. It's getting smaller and more concentrated. Thus, the fight out of the middle class or the lower class or getting to that next income level is becoming harder and harder, particularly in California, because how much things cost. Your ability to develop a skill is crucial to not only getting a job in the future, but maintaining a job in the future. And what do I mean by maintaining? When companies downsize, and I promise you'll see this in your lifetime at some point, you will see the economy collapse, right? You'll see people hold on to money, businesses not borrowing money, home borrowers diminishing, people not buying homes, right? You'll see the economy slow. And when the economy slows, businesses, which are designed to make money, do one thing: they downsize, right? They trim fat. And if you're someone who is not a skilled person, if you're not someone who has the ability to, let's say, accounting, right? Do accounting, medical billing, web design, or technological skills, a welder, a plumber, someone in HVAC. These are skilled jobs that if you go to the U.S. Department of Labor website, yeah, there is a U.S. Department of Labor. If you look, those are the jobs that are growing, right? It's not Jobs in academia. I hate to say it. It's not jobs in female studies. It's not jobs in psychology or philosophy or liberal arts. It's jobs in applicable science. It's jobs in mechanical engineering, in labor type jobs, right? And so I'm not trying to push you away from school by any sense but in any sense at all. But what I am saying is, if you're a philosophy major, why not have a minor or a certificate in welding? Or let's say a minor in medical billing or software engineering or some technological component. Having that skill or the motivation to have a new skill, right, is the key to the future, right? It really is. Most of that revolves around technology, but not all of it, right? Being a plumber, being an electrician, understanding circuitry, being an HVAC person, understanding. I mean, I'll tell you right now, with the coronavirus, if you're an HVAC, you're going off. You're going off right now. Why? Because everyone wants better filtration systems. There's businesses that are investing in ultraviolet light in their air vents to help clean the air. That part of the economy is growing astronomically. Yet a lot of you are going and applying to Ross, right? Put yourself where you want to be. And I'm not saying that Ross isn't a good job or Walmart's not a good job. I'm not saying that. And sometimes we take jobs where we can get them, right? I need a job. Here's this job. Boom. I'm delivering pizzas or what have you. Unfortunately, those are unskilled jobs. Anybody can fold shirts at Ross, right? And unload boxes. Anyone can stack shelves, right? Those people in a downsizing economy are expendable. If you can install a new pump, a new heater, if you can weld equipment, if you can go in and repair big HVAC systems or repair computers, what do you think? I think you're going to have a job, is what I think. Okay. So again, intellectual wellness hinges upon being open to new ideas, the ability, the capacity to create questions, going to school, educating yourself, reading, but most importantly, even if you don't do any of those things, having a very specific skill will pay off in the long run, right? Guaranteed. Okay. Question. Here's your question for your assignment. Okay. So make sure you have something to write this down. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the comments, right? Okay. I want you to Google a list of the top 5 highest. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. And don't worry, I'll repeat this. Highest paid skilled labor jobs. Okay. So I want you to Google the top 5 highest paid skilled labor jobs, right? And so your answer is to simply list and explain them. All you got to do. Super easy. There you go. I just sent you the question. Google a list of the top 5 highest paid skilled labor jobs. So your answer to this question is going to simply be list and explain that, right? So if it's HVAC, what's HVAC mean, right? What does an HVAC person do? So HVAC, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just guessing right now. I don't know what the highest skilled labor jobs are. Electrician, what does an electrician do? Right? Welder, what does a welder do? Real simple, okay? Does anyone have any questions? Physical wellness, emotional wellness, intellectual wellness, right? Physical wellness, work out, exercise, wear a condom, go to the doctor. Emotional wellness, be in control of your feelings, develop intimate relationships, develop the skills you have with taking care of others, incorporate those for you. Take care of yourself as well. Treat yourself as well as you're willing to treat other people. Have friends, have people that call you their friends, right? Develop intimate relationships. And then finally, intellectual wellness, open to new ideas, educate yourself, ask how, not just what, but most importantly, develop a skill. Okay. Again, the question today is list and explain the top 5 highest paid skilled labor jobs. Okay. Questions? Going once, going twice. Okay. Before we go, remember Wednesday, no lecture, your assignments right there in Canvas. Make sure you get that done during the class time on Wednesday, which is 8 to 9:30, right? Get that question answered, get it turned in, and you're on top of everything you need to do. Okay. Questions? Going once, going twice. See you next week.